Hey guys, Nick Horton here, the Iron Samurai, founder of Weightlifting Academy, and I'm here today to invite you to a truly unique and amazing educational opportunity for you that is coming up in just a few months in April in Portland, Oregon, and that is the Super Total certification being run by myself and world champion powerlifter Chris Duffin. And if you don't know what the word Super Total means, don't worry, I'm going to explain it in just a second and why it's so cool, how comprehensive what it is we're going to do. And then I'm going to give you just a really fast 2-minute story as a way of explaining the difference between what certifications tend to be like currently and what we're doing differently in order to help make up for what we think of as a really big missing piece. A missing piece that is based on education, on teaching, on what it really means for you to be somebody who doesn't just have an on-paper amount of knowledge about something, but who has a real skill set. A collection of skills you're able to put into practice. Skills no one else can ever take away from you. So what in the world does Super Total mean? Super Total is the combination of your powerlifting total and your Olympic weightlifting total. In other words, it's the squat, the bench, the deadlift, the snatch, and the clean and jerk. All 5 of those lifts, and I guess you could split the clean and jerk into 2 lifts, but competitively it's 1. So those 5 lifts, you add up your total in those, that's your Super Total. So this is why we're calling the Super Total certification a complete barbell strength training education. And that's the whole point, is that emphasis on the word education. So now it's time for a story. Story time is always great. So let's say we got 2 people. We got a dude and we got a lady. Both of these people go to a certification. It's a 2-day cram fest, right? Immersion style. You are, the time you wake up until the time you go to bed, you're just doing the content of this certification. And they are both serious about it. Great students. They're working their tails off. They are both at the top of that group. Just A class, right? They're working their tails off. The difference is what happens afterwards. Both of them did great in the 2 days. The difference is this. When they were done, the guy went home and didn't touch that material again. And he had no interaction whatsoever with the coaches that taught that certification. The lady, though, on the other hand, she did something kind of wild, very outside the bounds. She went and took a 12-week course in the same material right after the certification. She spent 12 more weeks covering that material. Which of those 2 do you think ends up at the end with a better education? That is a real set of skills they can use as coaches, as athletes. Obviously, it's the girl. She's the one who did that. And the research, the education research is extremely clear on this. Cramming for a test, that's basically what it is. 2 days like that. Cramming for a test works very well at getting you an A on the test. But you know how much knowledge is retained within about 2 or 3 months? 0. That's how much. The studies keep showing this again and again and again. Students who go in with all the best intentions, who really are working hard, are getting their asses handed to them a couple of months later because they didn't go through the process of taking something. Got a cool dog over here, check it out. They didn't go through the process of taking something from their short-term memory, putting it into their long-term memory, that's the middle part, and then finally, this is the end, turning it into a skill set. Turning something that was once just in your short-term memory out into a true skill set, that is the real purpose of an education. And that's the difference between somebody who's going to make a good coach, a good athlete, and somebody who just has a large collection on their wall of $1,000 slips of paper, as I like to call them. So how does that relate to what we're talking about with the Super Total? Well, like all other certification programs, ours includes the 2 days. That's important. You know who learns best? It's true to say that a person is going to learn great just by cramming, or not by cramming, sorry, but by taking that cram amount of time, the same amount of time, and spreading it out over weeks and weeks and weeks. But the people who learn the most combine immersion with follow-up. That's the real key. Immersion plus follow-up. That's what makes the difference between the normal certification process, which is just 2 days, and that's it. And you go home and you're on your own, Jack. You do not get, access to email that coach for the next 3 months. That's not part of your price. But with us, it's more than that. It's 2 days in Portland, Oregon in April. You are going to be doing a full immersion in all of the major barbell lifts. Every single one of them. You are going to be able to understand what's required of you in each one of these lifts and go beyond that. But that's not enough. What's going to happen after that is, after a 1-week break, we're going to start a 90-day online course with me, drilling all of that material in so that it goes from your short-term memory into real practice. And when I say a course, I mean an interactive, you and I spending real time together getting this stuff done. I'm going to be requiring of you, if you're an athlete, you've got to actually put the stuff into practice and show me what you're doing. And I'm going to give you feedback so that you can move forward. If you're a coach, I'm going to make you work on this material with your athletes. You're going to have to actually put it into practice as a coach and prove that you're improving over time. So that's the difference, is that what you're getting here is not just, the 2 days, which is already a great experience. Nobody doubts that. That part's sort of obvious, right? That the experience of those 2 days is important for lots of reasons. It gives you that immersion that saturates your mind with all the right material. It gives you that motivation. It gives you that wonderful emotional experience of being in a room with like-minded people and getting a lot of work done in a short amount of time. That is deeply, deeply important. A language learner, for instance, is always going to do well with immersion. But you need to follow it up with practice and with guidance. And that's what you're going to get. You're going to get the 2 full days plus 90 days, 12 full weeks of an interactive, personalized course in the barbell strength lifts. And when you get done with this, you're going to have a level of skills, a skill set most people simply don't get. It takes them years to develop what we're going to be teaching you. So join me and Chris Duffin in Portland, Oregon in April. You can go to weightliftingacademy.com and sign up today. weightliftingacademy.com, sign up and join us. And if you have any questions, and I mean anything, please just contact either myself or Chris. We're very easy to get a hold of. We don't bite, at least not too often, unless you happen to be a steak or a big piece of chicken, then we might bite you. And contact us, ask us your questions so that anything that you need sort of, to talk through, we can talk through with you. It's no big deal. We understand that. So go to weightliftingacademy.com, sign up, and I will see you in Portland.